India still 46 runs behind from avoiding a follow-on with just 2 wickets at hand, but Captain MS Dhoni is on the crease after a stellar 50 from his bat. I have former India captain Saurav Ganguly with me. Dada, would you say you're happy with the fight back that India showed, or are you slightly disappointed?
A little disappointed. I thought they should have batted a lot better. A lot of the top order batsmen got starts but couldn't convert them into a big score. And they will be disappointed themselves when they head back to the hotel tonight and see the scorecard. But overall, they still have a chance. The first target would be to avoid the follow-on and then put England in. So if England bats again, there will be lesser time for India to bat. So it's a fine balance. There's enough time, 6 sessions, 180 overs. That's a lot of time for cricket.
Both results still possible right now. A lot of fight still left from India's side. But you mentioned the starts. As many as 7 Indian top order batsmen got starts, but only Rahane seemed to convert it into a 50. And then Captain MS Dhoni. Do you think it's a mental issue? Some batsmen actually giving away the starts that they had. Of course, there was good bowling from England as well.
See, that is going to happen. At certain times you will throw away starts. That's the way the game goes. 50 and 100 are just numbers. You still have to get them, you still have to cross them and get to 60, 70. So these are all numbers. But as a batting unit, when 6 out of your top 7 get to starts, you expect one of them to get 100. But unfortunately that hasn't happened. They'll have an opportunity on the second innings. It's still a good wicket. It hasn't been up and down yet. I don't know what's going to happen on day 5. But India will have to play very well to save this test match.
What a knock from Captain MS Dhoni though. We were sensing it's perhaps coming. He understands situations of the matches very well. He couldn't quite do it at Lord's. But here you have to admire his grit, isn't it, against Anderson and Broad.
And he's made adjustments to his technique. He's been out on the off stump, driving through the off stump to the second new ball. And he didn't play that shot. And he's always been a fighter, MS Dhoni. He doesn't have the best of abilities as a test batsman, but he will not give it away easily, and that's his special quality. It's good to see him fight hard. As long as he's there, India will have the hope of saving the follow-on. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow morning.
And he also overtakes Brian Lara as a man with the most sixes as a captain. Another list that MS Dhoni tops now. Dada.
Oh, is it? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, that's 6 in this inning.
Yeah, I don't think he would be bothered about that. I think he'll hit a lot more sixes till the end of his career, both in one-day cricket and test cricket. But it's been a fighting innings, and hopefully he could save the follow-on for his team.
Right. Let's talk about a few things that we witnessed in India's batting innings. One question that some I heard were asking is complacency setting into Murali Vijay's batting? Does that happen when you have got runs? You think they will come? Did you sense that at all in his innings?
No, I don't think so. It's just that he got out. He's been in good form. He fought hard for his innings. So he batted almost 90 deliveries. So it wasn't that sort of a flashy innings which actually takes you to the idea that whether he's complacent or not. I thought he's batting well. It's one of those innings where he's got out. He'll have a role to play in the second innings, and hopefully he bats well as he's batted in the series.
What's going wrong though for Cheteshwar Pujara and Virat Kohli? Dada, both of them again got starts. Neither here nor there score from both of them. What would you say to them if you were captain right now today?
See, this is part of life. You will not score runs every day. Probably Kohli is in that phase. 4 or 5 innings has gone. They play so much of cricket. This will happen. But I'm not too worried. I thought Kohli batted well today. Whatever time he was at the crease, he got 38. He looked good. He didn't look in trouble till he nicked one outside the off stump. So there are good signs for Virat Kohli. There's again a lot of cricket left in this test match, in this test series. 5 test innings still to play. They're halfway in between the test series, and hopefully he stands up for India soon.
Both of them are India's mainstays as far as batting is concerned. Both of them haven't really hit the stride in this series. That I have to ask you again, converting your starts into big knocks is also an art that the batsman learns over the years. They're not terribly experienced, but they're not lack of experience as well. What would you tell them so that, let's say, next time they're able to convert it?
See, they have good records. They have converted starts. It's not that they haven't done it before. Yes, when you look at every innings and you analyze every innings, all these questions come up. But as a batsman, sometimes it's not easy to convert all the time. They're quality players, they're young players, they're in the early days of their test career. They will be fabulous players for India in the future, all of them. Shekhar, Murali Vijay, Pujara, Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, Rohit Sharma, just makes us feel sad every time he gets out that way and every time he doesn't get runs because he's such a talented player. But these boys can play and they will serve Indian cricket for a long time.
I was going to come to Rohit Sharma. Such a stellar, talent. His start in Test cricket was brilliant back in India. Of course, in India, he looks very comfortable when he gets in. But on foreign soil, do you think there's an issue with his technique or his mindset?
Mindset. There's never an issue with the technique of Rohit Sharma. Every time he bats, he looks like $1 million player. But it's just the way he gets out. He just slogged Moeen Ali into the hands of mid-off. He was set. He needs a bit more determination in his game, especially in these conditions, like what Dhoni did today. Dhoni is not as gifted as Rohit Sharma in terms of technique and class and quality as a batsman in Test cricket. One-day cricket, yes, he's far superior. He's a fabulous one-day player. But in Test cricket, he should learn from the way Dhoni batted this innings with fight, determination, hunger, and Rohit Sharma needs to do that, because with that talent, if you don't get runs consistently in Test matches or any form of cricket, once your career finishes, you will really, really feel disappointed.
Yes, it took him a long time to hit his stride, even in the other formats. One just hopes it doesn't take him that long, because one wonders if he's going to get as long a run as he did in limited overs. But let's talk about Ajinkya Rahane. Fifth 50 for him in the last 7 innings, and yet a terrible shot to get out to. At that stage of that match, you just got your 50. What we needed was a big one.
Yes, true, but he had to play the shot. It was a rank long hop. He could have put it anywhere in the stands. Dhoni did one. When he batted, he put it into the square leg stands. He could have done that as well. I think he tried to hit it for a 6. It was such a bad delivery that he tried to...
You get tempted.
Yes, he tried to get the maximum. And Moeen Ali probably is the golden arm of English cricket at the moment. He just turns his arm over and gets wickets. He looks innocuous, doesn't have so much of variation, but has done a wonderful job as a spinner for England.
Actually, I was going to ask you this. Was Moeen Ali as good, as dangerous as his wickets column suggests, or was it just the way the Indian batting lineup played him, thinking we can get runs off him?
Yeah, I think he's in a good phase as a bowler. He's probably getting wickets, not with the greatest of deliveries, but he's keeping that wickets column busy. Graham Swan got 13 wickets in 2011 in the entire Test series, which England won 4-0. And Moeen Ali has already picked 9, and there's still 2 Test matches to go. So that goes to show that he's done a wonderful job for England. He's half as good a bowler as Graham Swan was, but he's doing a job for England.
Yes, the rub of the green sometimes just goes your way, but there's absolutely no luck element when we talk about James Anderson. What a hero he is for the English team. Really, this man getting them into winning situations again and again. What an effort, Dada, by James Anderson.
Class act. In this wicket, he's gone for less than 3 runs and over, just shade over 2 runs and over, and that's why he's a great bowler. Close to 400 Test wickets, close to 100 Test matches, day in, day out, runs in. And the best part about Jimmy Anderson is every time he comes out to bowl, he looks like picking a wicket. There's so much pressure on the batsman when Jimmy Anderson bowls. There's so much variation with the length, with the line, with the swing. He's just at you all the time. He's probably one of England's greats.
Yes, so many spells for him today, so many overs, and every time he looked just as threatening as the first one. But what Broad and Anderson, Dada, also showed was that this wicket is actually not as docile as when India were bowling, isn't it?
No, and we said that yesterday. No, let's not jump to a conclusion about the pitch when only one side has bowled. Wait for the other team also to bowl on that. And I thought they are tall, they're quicker. They hit the deck hard. Even Wokes and Jordan were bowling at the high 140s. So they're really strong fast bowlers. They hit the deck hard, and obviously we'll get a lot more out of the pitch than a lot of other seamers. So I'm not surprised with what I've seen. I only pray for India that it doesn't get up and down tomorrow and day after, because in India we'll have to do a lot of work to save this Test match.
Right, but what makes the effort of James Anderson and Stuart Broad even more important is the fact that they had very little help from the others, isn't it? Wokes and Jordan don't look like to be present right now.
Yes, the only bowler who's helping them is Moeen Ali at the present moment. But I thought Wokes bowled well. He needs to be a bit more disciplined and consistent with his line. They're also young bowlers. They will learn with time. But there's pace in that English attack, and whether it's Jordan, whether it's Wokes, whether it's Anderson or Broad, they all have the capability of bowling at the high 140s, and that's why they got a bit more than what the Indians got out of this pitch.
And especially when you look at this bowling performance from England, you also wonder just what will happen if James Anderson does indeed get a ban, isn't it? That will be a huge, huge blow, isn't it? Because without him, this English attack could look very different.
Yes, but let's cross the bridge when we get there. And we don't know. There are a lot of speculations: who's done what, who hasn't done what, who's picked the bat, who's had the bat under his armpit. So we really don't know what's happening. And another good bowler who's waiting on the wings, and I saw him a few days ago, and he was getting it through, was Stephen Finn. I think he's a quality bowler. He's quicker than all these bowlers. He's quicker than Anderson, Broad, Jordan and Chris Wokes. And at some stage England selectors will have a look at him, because if he gets it right, he's a handy fast bowler.
Well, there's lots we can talk about fast bowlers from either side, just what makes them tick. And Stephen Finn is an example sometimes of what goes wrong with a fast bowler as well. But let's concentrate on this match first up. We'll have to wait and see about James Anderson. But Dada, 46 runs, still short of a follow-on. How delicately do you think this match is poised right now, especially from India's
point? First target for India, get past those 46 runs, because time will be important. England bat again. England have to, obviously we get those 46 runs, the lead will be less than 200. England will have to get 350 lead, so that's another 2 sessions, and then India will have to bat 1 session, so 1 day rather, that which is 3 sessions, and it'll make it a lot easier for them to save the test match. So the first and foremost target tomorrow morning will be to save the follow-on.
From England and India's perspective, from England's perspective, they need to make India bat for 4 sessions, let's say, and India would look to bat anything less than that, isn't it?
Yeah, the lesser the better for India. You know, the lesser the time they'll have to bat, the less pressure on them. So England will have to create the game for themselves and put India under pressure. So as I said, a lot of cricket left. The weather forecast is fine. There will not be any rain-curtailed days, and India, as I said, will have to hold on till probably the last session of this Test match.
Yes, it could get very interesting. A lot of batting required from India to save this much, this one still. But what do you think Alistair Cook will do if he gets India out before the 200-run mark? Do you think he'll enforce the follow-on or maybe bat?
If I was in his place, I would have, and because time will be important. If Alistair Cook had to get another 100 runs in 20 overs on day 5, probably do that. But when you bat again and you don't know when to declare, every hour will be crucial. If I was in Alistair Cook's place, I will follow on if India doesn't get past get those 46 runs tomorrow morning.
All right, Saurav Ganguly, final question. How would you say this test match is placed right now? Is it 50-50 or is it still in England's favour?
England's favour. England have won all the sessions so far. This is end of day 3, so 9 sessions. England have won all the 9 sessions, and India will have to play the catch-up game to save the test.
Absolutely. It's a position they found themselves in, playing catch-up to England all the time. Saurav Ganguly will continue joining us throughout the Grudge Series right here on Headlines Today. For the meantime, it's time for us to take a very short break. Keep watching our special right here from Southampton.